eat extra sharp. That's what I eat. I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat. I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
Seriously, hot. So I've been seriously hot. So I've been eating a lot of hot sauce. Seriously, hot. So I sauce, a lot of sauce, a lot of seriously sauce, a lot of sauce, a lot of sauce, a lot of raw pepper. Seriously, hot. Seriously sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt. They hold this institution in contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt. They think that maybe, given all of the crises facing this country, it's about time that there was some bold leadership here.
Seriously, hot. So seriously, hot. So I've been. I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I try to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls. Seriously, hot. So I seriously hot. Seriously, sauce, lot sauce, lot sauce, lot of sauce, lot of egg.
It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear words.
I admit to always improving.
$7 million for reef fish management. $25 million to combat Asian carp. $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Does anyone know? Because it sounds like it's on. Like, to my understanding, the way I understand the world, it seems like it. Now, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it's on. That's right, folks. Welcome. It's Above It Motherfucking All. And I'm here. I'm alive. I'm a living being. As you can see, I've got hands. I've got, Not to say that if you don't have hands, you're not alive, but I do have hands. That is true. And I am alive. So both of those things have happened. The fact that I have hands and the fact that I'm alive are very much so part of the American consciousness at this moment in time. But hello, everyone. We got Radler, we got Catherine, we got Mr. Freak Glitcher, we got Sharif, we got Abner, we got Brienne, we got Paladin, we got Terentile, we got Mila, we got Mary, we got Felix, and we got Bob. It's a decent roster. We got, this is a decent roster. It's like, we got Cornelius A, Cornelius B, bringing it in. It's a decent roster, like it's, you don't have everyone that we would like, but, we can handle it. It's like the sequel where you get most of the people from the original movie, but maybe you're missing a couple of the stars, but, it still kind of works. It's like where they decide to make more seasons of a television show that's clearly past its prime, right? So half the cast is left, but you still got some hangers on. Like Matt Strackbone. No one watched this show for Matt Strackbone originally, but I mean, he's the only one left, so what are you gonna do, right? Bob Carmody in the chat. The final episode of That 70s Show, that's correct. That's correct. So we got a show here today. That's what we got. We've got a show. The show is here. It's it's a little late, but actually it wasn't late, it was on time, but it was, it is in fact a show. And we're going to be doing a show. And that's what's important. That's what's mandatory at this current moment in time. So we're gonna get through this era in human history, and then we're going to go to the post-show era where you go do whatever the fuck it is you do when the show's over, and I do whatever it is I do when the show's over. So we're gonna both be returning to our prospective things at a current moment in time. Or at a later moment in time, because that's not right now, because you're watching the show right now. But in the future, you won't be, because I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be live for the rest of your life. So there is going to be a point where you are going to... so it's going to be over at some point. So I've got a can of seltzer here. Hey, Paul. How's it going? Finally, motherfuckers, Paul is here. So with that being said, let's begin the show. Yesterday was day 154 of protests, daily demonstrations in the city of Elizabeth City and the county of Pasquotank County over the assassination by the Sheriff's Department of Andrew Brown Jr. that took place on April 21st. There's no real updates in the form of anything I can provide to you informationally that you don't already know. But we've been out here for 154 days. That's new information. And so today will be day 155. We're actually closer to day 200 than we are to day 100, and that's pretty interesting. We've been knee deep in this phase of the daily marches for this long of a time. For those of you that don't know, my court date is next Thursday, so I will probably not be able to do a show next Thursday. It's very likely that I will not be able to do a show next Thursday. And so I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, so we've been out here for 154 days. It's pretty incredible. We have a couple people that show up every day, a couple people that drive alongside the protest as well. And, there's all the different elements of people that are protesting in all different ways that make this thing possible. So, and we got the kids here, which is pretty cool. And there you go. That's it. That's the show, really. I mean, no big updates. Very similar to the day before. And there you go. You could very well be live for the rest of our lives if we stalk you. Well, I mean, I feel like if you were to do that, Catherine, it would have happened already. Do a show from court, I wish, but they take your cell phones? You got cussed out by a black lady for wearing a Black Lives Matter mask. She said, I thought I was privileged by wearing it? I don't know what that means. Yeah, I have no idea what that means. But anyway, we got a show here, folks. I'm going to try to keep today's show a little bit more lighthearted. Because, I'm going to be honest, folks. Like, Lord have mercy, right? That's all I got. You claiming I'm lazy? That's exactly what I'm claiming, Catherine. That is 100% exactly what I meant to say. But... So, folks, Texas is not good. That's kind of the world that we're living in right now. Texas is really bad. So this happened a couple days ago. A new bill was introduced into the Republican state legislature of Texas that basically defines having any trans kid as child abuse in this new bill. So we have the text here. This amends the definition of child abuse by saying administering or supplying or consenting to or assisting in the administration or supply of. So this could also potentially apply to doctors, could also be charged for child endangerment and abuse under this bizarre new law. A puberty suppressant, prescription drug, or cross-sex hormone to a child other than an intersex child for the purpose of gender transitioning or gender reassignment. So, bizarrely enough, one thing that y'all might not know when it comes to intersex people is they often have their genitals mutilated and are forced on certain sorts of medications that force them to be a gender that they might not be interested in being. So that is being specifically legalized, right? Non-consensual hormone replacement and genital mutilation against intersex people. But then also consensual hormone therapy is banned in this new bill. I don't understand what the fuck is going on here. Like, these motherfuckers are crazy. Like, y'all need to understand. The Republican Party is crazy. They are the party of crazy motherfuckers that are trying their hardest to signal on every cultural issue that they are as far right as humanly possible, right? Trans people have never hurt anybody, right? They have never legislated people's entire existences out of the world. They have never burned decades of scientific research on people to make it seem like they don't exist. They have never gone around the globe and destroy iconography of transgender people. They've never done that. But cisgender people have. For whatever reason, they think that they get to decide what other people do with their bodies and how they live their lives. And it's very bizarre. And again, I mean, Texas is a giant state. It's not like we were talking in 2020 of Texas maybe voting for Joe Biden. That was like not out of the question. So it's not like Texas is a far right Republican landscape where 90% of the population are Republicans. That is not the case. This is going to affect a lot of people if this is passed, and it probably will be, given that Texas is doing a lot more also really bizarre shit. So, I mean, watch out. If you're trans in the South, I recommend, I know this is trite, but I recommend leaving. I genuinely recommend getting the fuck out of there. If you can, and if you can't, I mean, I really don't know how else. I don't know what other possible, like, vote, question mark? I don't know, just get the fuck out of there. Like, let the cis people vote in Democrats or, like, non-far-right Republicans, just kidding, they don't exist. Let the cis people stay behind and deal with that, and then you can go back in 40 years maybe if things are fixed, but that's probably not going to happen. But either way, I mean, it's cruelty is the point here. Like, being trans in this society that we live in is already difficult enough. Cruelty is the point. They want to make it even more difficult. It's crazy. All right, I want to talk about January 6th and the election. So this is an interesting article that came out yesterday. Trump campaign knew lawyers' voting machine claims were baseless, memo shows. Days before lawyers allied with Donald Trump gave a news conference promoting election conspiracy theories, his campaign had determined that many of those claims were false, court filings reveal. So, folks, I want to be very clear. Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. He got creamed. All right? He got destroyed. It was actually a legendary loss. Georgia voted for Joe Biden. That's how bad Donald Trump is. Georgia voted for Joe Biden. But let's continue. 2 weeks after the 2020 election, a team of lawyers closely allied with Donald Trump held a widely watched news conference at the Republican Party's headquarters in Washington. At the event, they laid out a bizarre conspiracy theory claiming that a voting machine company had worked with an election software firm, the financier George Soros, and Venezuela to steal the presidential contest from Trump. Do you remember that? Goddamn. But there was a problem for the Trump team, according to court documents released on Monday evening. By the time the news conference occurred on November 19th, Mr. Trump's campaign had already prepared an internal memo on many of the outlandish claims about the company, Dominion Voting Systems, and the separate software company, Smartmatic. The memo had determined that those allegations were untrue. It's incredible. It's incredible. This whole thing, in Trump's own words, I hope he takes his own advice.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
I wish. I wish, right? The court papers, which were initially filed late last week as a motion in a defamation lawsuit brought against the campaign and others by former Dominion employee Eric Coomer. There is no way. I refuse to believe that. Hold up. My glasses clearly are smudged. Hold the phone, folks. Hold the phone. I gotta de-smudgify my glasses. Hold the phone. The court papers, which were initially filed late last week as a motion in a defamation lawsuit brought against the campaign and others by a former Dominion employee, Eric Coomer, contain evidence that officials in the Trump campaign were already aware early on that many of the claims against the companies were baseless. The document also suggests that the campaign sat on its findings about Dominion even as Sidney Powell and other lawyers attacked the company in the conservative media and ultimately filed 4 federal lawsuits accusing it of a vast conspiracy to rig the election against Mr. Trump. According to the emails contained in the documents, Zach Parkinson, then the campaign's deputy director of communications, reached out to subordinates on November 3rd, asking them to substantiate or debunk several matters concerning Dominion. The next day, the emails show Mr. Parkinson received a copy of a memo cobbled together by his staff, from what largely appears to be news articles and public fact-checking services. Even though the memo was hastily assembled, it rebutted a series of allegations that Ms. Powell and others were making in public. It found that Dominion did not use voting technology from the software company Smartmatic in the 2020 election, that Dominion had no direct ties to Venezuela or to George Soros, and that there was no evidence that Dominion's leadership had connections to left-wing Antifa activists, as Ms. Powell and others had claimed. As Mr. Coomer's lawyer, all right, you can read the rest of this if you want. This is Eric Coomer. Interesting. So anyway, so the Trump campaign is garbage. Anyone that believed that shit is stupid. They knew they were lying the whole time. No shit. Imagine, literally, in September of 2021, you actually think Trump won the election. You're a dumbass. You're a fucking loser. You're a fucking, you got shit for brains. Right, if I, like, knocked on your head, you know what would happen? You would shut down instantly because your brain just can't handle that. Right? I don't know what that means. That being said, you are a dumb shit motherfucker, and you need to realize how dumb you are. And your stupidity is not only just like, it's not like, oh yeah, the earth is flat and you go about being a normal citizen. No, your stupid assery actually impacts the rest of us because we have to deal with your dumb ass, right? You're probably out there not taking vaccines, coughing in fucking people's faces at the grocery store without a mask on. Y'all are dumbass motherfuckers. And I need you to understand there's not any amount, right, of coping that is going to get you out of this one other than just by saying, I fucked up. And it's okay to fuck up. We all fuck up. It's alright. But are you really going to double down, triple down? Are you going to be like fucking 20 years from now, Trump actually won in goddamn Dominion? Are you going to do that? Or are you just going to get out now while you still can and try to live the rest of your life as a normal person? I recommend doing the latter. But Lord have motherfucking mercy, folks. Why TYT stick it in chat? I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, Mike. I'm gonna be honest. You are living in your own world at this moment. You are in your own world. All right, folks. So January 6th. Oh, there's a lot of dumb fuck motherfuckers out there that go look. No big deal. Yeah, go fuck yourself if you're one of those people. And here's another reason why you should go fuck yourself. Memo shows Trump's lawyers' 6-step plan for Pence to overturn the election. And I've got the memo up right here. Right? I'm going to read this entire thing to you. This was how they were going to steal the motherfucking goddamn U.S. government. But for the grace of Dan Quayle, which I didn't cover that, but Dan Quayle, right, former vice president calling Mike Pence a couple days or a day before January 6th, basically told him not to do this. Pence was going to do all of this. He was going to go march in lockstep with this. But for former Vice President Dan Quayle, going into that. So, like, you know, and I didn't cover that, but for those of you that don't know, he called Mike Pence. Mike Pence was like, I might be able to do it. And Dan Quayle was like, bitch, motherfucker, are you crazy? Like, listen to yourself, right? And then so Mike Pence ultimately decided not to destroy the United States government, which, Lord have mercy, that was the guy in charge of whether or not to destroy the U.S. government. Republican, Christian nationalist, fundamentalist, zealot, religious cult leader Mike Pence. Lord have motherfucking mercy. With that being said, let's read this garbage. 7 states have transmitted dual slates of electors to the President of the Senate. The 12th Amendment merely provides that the President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and the House of Representatives, open all the certificates and the votes shall then be counted. There is very solid legal authority and historical precedent for the view that the President of the Senate does the counting, including the resolution of disputed electoral votes, as Adams and Jefferson did while vice president, regarding their own elections as president, and all the members of Congress can do is watch. The Electoral Count Act, which is likely unconstitutional, provides... Now again, this is what their plan was. This is the plan. They wrote this out before January 6th and gave it to all the top Republicans. This was their plan? If more than one return or paper purporting to be a return from the state shall have been received by the President of the Senate, those votes and those only shall be counted, which shall have been regularly given by the electors who are shown by the determination mentioned in Section 5 of this title to have been appointed, blah, blah, blah. You can read this all, your own thing. So here's the plan, okay? Vice President Pence presiding over the joint session, or Senate Pro Tempore Grassley if Pence recuses himself. Now, if you don't remember, Chuck Grassley, a couple days before January 6th, said that he is ready to step in if Mike Pence can't do it. Chuck Grassley wanted everyone in public to know that if for whatever reason Mike Pence doesn't show up, maybe he broke his leg, maybe he fell down the stairs, maybe he bumped into a door, all totally possible, Chuck Grassley's got it, bro. Begins to open and count the ballots, starting with Alabama, without conceding that the procedure specified by the Electoral Act of going through the states alphabetically is required. So basically, they start by cheating and just hope no one notices. When he gets to Arizona, he announces that he has multiple slates of electors and is so going to defer decision on that until finishing the other states. This would be the first break with the procedure set out in the act. At the end, he announces that because of the ongoing disputes in 7 states, that there are no electors that can be deemed validly appointed in those states. That means the total number of electors appointed, the language of the 12th Amendment, is 454. Electors appointed. Now they're doing legal loopholes. Again, this was their plan. But January 6th was no big deal. It was just a couple of old people running through the halls of Congress. It totally wasn't an inside job. Cops totally didn't open the doors for them. The FBI totally didn't act on time. The National Guard totally wasn't blocked for several hours. None of that ever happened. It was just a couple of old grandmas walking through going, wow, look at the Capitol. No big deal here, folks. Anyway, let's read. This reading of the 12th Amendment has also been advanced by Harvard Law professor Lawrence Tribe. A majority of the electors appointed would therefore be 228. There are at this point 232 votes for Trump, 222 votes for Biden. Pence then gavels President Trump is reelected. So, theoretically, they just declare Trump as president. But they've got the backup plan. They're like, all right, someone will probably say boo, so we'll have what we do afterward if someone says boo. But theoretically here, if no one says boo, Donald Trump is president. What? Howells, of course, from the Democrats, who now claim, contrary to Tribe's prior position, that 270 is required. So Pence says, fine. Pursuant to the 12th Amendment, no candidate has achieved the necessary majority. That sends the matter to the House, where the votes shall be taken by states. The representatives from each state having one vote. Republicans currently control 26 of the state delegations. The bare majority needed to win that vote. President Trump is reelected there as well. What? One last piece. Assuming the Electoral Count Act process is followed and upon getting to the objections to the Arizona slates, the two houses break into their separate chambers. We should not allow the Electoral Count Act constraint on debate to control. That would mean that a prior legislature was determining the rules of the present one, a constitutional no-no, as Tribe has forcefully argued. So someone, note this, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, etc., they name people. Accomplices are named. These motherfuckers are literally named in the goddamn memo where they're trying to overthrow the goddamn U.S. government. They're named in there. Why are they still allowed to be in Congress? Should demand normal rules, which include the filibuster, that creates a stalemate that would give the state legislatures more time to weigh in to formally support the alternative slate of electors if they had not already done so. The main thing here is that Pence should do this without asking for permission, either from a vote of the joint session or from the court. Let the other side challenge his actions in court, where Tribe, who in 2001 conceded the president of the Senate might be in charge of counting the votes. And others who would press a lawsuit would have their past position that there are non-justicable political questions thrown back at them to get the lawsuit dismissed. The fact is, and again, the Supreme Court, mostly Republican far-right fucking losers, right? So let's say the Democrats and anyone who knows what the sun looks like in the middle of the day tries to place a lawsuit. The Supreme Court at the end of the day would have been like, nah. The fact is, the Constitution assigns the power to the Vice President as the ultimate arbiter. We should all take actions with that in mind. Folks, they tried to destroy the U.S. government, and there's been no accountability. Why don't they impeach Trump again? With this new information, impeach Trump again? Impeach Rand Paul. Impeach Chuck Grassley. Impeach Ted Cruz. Why aren't these people in jail? Does anyone know? Can someone like find out for me? Can someone go on an investigative journalism, like kind of, go like, get the little hat on with the little like, post-it note or whatever in there, right? Get your little clipboard, your notepad with the fucking spinny thing in the top, and then put your pen in there and just go like, I don't know, looking under dumpsters somewhere, maybe open up a sewer grate, look in there. Someone find out why the fuck these motherfuckers aren't in jail. Because to me, it seems like there was a lot going on January 4th, 5th, and 6th. And then we've got these dumb fuck motherfuckers out here like Ben Burgess still pretending like this was no big deal. I literally, like, this might be one of the most, like we're going to be in 2024 when Donald Trump is crowned king of North America. We're going to be looking back at January 6th and we're going to be going like, damn, if only we actually took this fucking shit seriously. Because fuck, motherfuck, and then also fuck. And then before I'm done, fuck one more time. Just kidding. Fuck again. Ugh. Howdy, Kelsey. How's your Bitcoin Cash doing? Speaking of which, I haven't checked crypto today. How much money did I lose in the last... Oh, I didn't lose that much money. I'm back in, folks. I'm back in. $2024. Ben, how could we have known Burgess? Oh my god. Oh, of course, D. I fucking make clips of everything. Because I'm a clipper. I clip. Alright, folks. So, we got a couple more. Couple more here, folks. Focals. Bifocals. Bifocals. We're going to get some bifocals. So a couple of days ago, anti-imperialist queen Tulsi Gabbard went on Fox News, specifically Tucker Carlson's show, and said this.
Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. So you
also, Ted Cruz, or not Ted Cruz, Tucker Carlson misgenders Tulsi Gabbard. Then again, reminder, Tulsi Gabbard loves to misgender people. Tulsi Gabbard's last bill as a congresswoman was to attack transgender people. So, very interesting that she gets misgendered here. But either way, let's continue.
Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. So you get to lie. I mean, this will not shock you because you've seen it so much, but you get to lie about the loss of human life. You get caught and nothing happens to you? What kind of system is that?
I mean, this kind of accountability is critical. I want to point out first that
we're talking about the Afghanistan drone strike that killed 7 children. Horrible. Disgusting. Joe Biden should be ashamed of himself. The general who did this profound apology should fucking be in jail. That is no question. But is Tulsi Gabbard going to say that? No, actually. She is going to agree with Joe Biden. In fact, she's going to go further than far-right, racist, Islamophobe, disgusting warmonger Joe Biden and Donald Trump. She's going to go further to the right than George W. Bush. Check this out.
Anytime there are civilian casualties in war, it is tragic and terrible. Yeah. War is a terrible thing, and I think it's important for the American people to understand that Islamist jihadists are continuing to wage war against us. And the Islamist ideology, not the same as the religion of Islam, but this Islamist ideology, which is a political ideology that inspired the terrorist attacks on our country on 9/11, is the greatest threat that we're facing right now in this country and the world. It is the foundation of governance of so-called Islamic countries like Turkey and Iran and Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. And it's what's behind the discriminatory policies that they have in these countries against Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, atheists, and others. So as long as these Islamist jihadists are waging war against...
Look at Tucker Carlson. He's so confused. He's like, I thought you were going to talk about how Joe Biden is bad. Now it seems like you backed up Joe Biden. Like, okay, so they brought her on to talk about why Joe Biden killing kids is bad. A layup. And then she goes in and says, yeah, that's bad, but we had to do it. In fact, not only did we have to do it, but we have to do it a lot more. What? What? Like, I'm just... What? Like, I'm trying to figure... I can't... What? Like, okay. Yes, killing 7 kids was bad, but you know what would be good? You want to know why it's bad? Because we didn't kill 70 kids. We gotta kill 7,000 kids. That's good. Let's go. Forever wars. Anti-imperialist Queen Tulsi Gabbard is advocating in favor of global world war against an entire religion. What?
To us. We have to work to defeat them militarily and ideologically. And militarily, we have 2 choices in how we do that. Number 1, we can continue to invade and occupy and nation build in countries around the world, just as we did in Afghanistan, at great cost. Number 2, we can take a targeted approach using airstrikes, using our special forces to go in and go after these terrorist cells. The reality is that the cost to the American people, the cost to our troops, the cost to civilians will be far less if we take this very targeted approach to go after these jihadist terrorist cells than if we continue making the very same mistakes that we saw in Afghanistan and other parts of the world
I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Folks, what the fuck? Reminder, like, again, I love doing the victory lap on this one because it's like she gives me such good content. Reminder, Jimmy Dore, the leader of this force the vote, anti-left, quote-unquote, left-wing, anti-imperialist bullshit crowd on the internet, endorsed this over Bernard Sanders. Like, I just want to say, like, super-duper anti-imperialist, ultra-communist, hyper-duper super leftist Nico House endorsed this over Bernard Sanders, right? Like, all these weirdo motherfuckers, right, that are going out there trying to make a shitload of money talking about how they're anti-imperialist endorsed this over Bernard Sanders. I want to, like, just be very clear about that. Like, I know this is insular, like, you know, left-wing bullshit, but Lord have mercy, right? I mean, Lord have mercy. Anyone who thought that she was anti-imperialist in 2019, you're a dumb motherfucker. You're a dumb motherfucker. And you also have to realize anyone who says that they're a left-winger, I support universal health care. That doesn't make them a left-winger. You know who else supported universal health care? Adolf Hitler. Hey, just saying, right? So, like, that's the thing we need to understand here. These motherfuckers will say things that don't actually make any sense, and they will lie to you. Anyone who sold Tulsi Gabbard to you is a liar. They are a professional fucking charlatan. They are liars, folks. I'm just saying, like, yeah, killing 7 kids was bad, but have you thought about killing 48 kids? All right, folks. This one is a little old, but I have to watch it. But it's a little old. You'll have seen it already, most likely. But have you seen me react? No. Why? Because I haven't reacted yet, so. It's a really good clip. All right, folks. Joe Biden. Now, a lot of people out here say, you voted for Joe Biden. I don't know why they say that. But yeah, I voted for Joe Biden. And moments like this they really make me happy that I voted for Joe Biden. Now, obviously, Joe Biden is garbage, and I don't even pretend like he's not. That being said, this is incredible.
Thank you, Boris. I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister. Thank you, Boris. And I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister.
I love this. Okay, so he just totally forgot the name of the Prime Minister of Australia. I love it. And I also love, right, thank you, Boris. Like, yeah, hey, Boris. I mean, imagine looking at this fucking guy and going like, hello, esteemed Prime Minister Boris Johnson. No, this guy's Boris, motherfucker. Like, I'll call him Bojo Bozo, right? But I just love the idea that Joe Biden is out here forgetting the names of world leaders live on television. This is incredible. And moments like this, right? Moments like this are why I am so happy to have voted for Joe Biden, because this is so good. Like, yes, Trump was really funny. Like, but this, like, again, let's just do it again.
Thank you, Boris. And I want to thank that fellow down under.
So there's the gap there where he doesn't say thank you, whatever his name is, like Scott or whatever. I want to thank my fellow from down under, like the fellow. I love that. That fellow. Like, he's just some random guy. Yeah. Who? What? Why are you here again? Yeah, that fellow from down under. I mean, again, I can't. It's so good. That fellow from down under.
Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister.
I also love, thank you very much, pal. Motherfucking pal. Yeah, thanks very much, pal. Good old chap. Thank you so much. That fellow from down under is so good.
And I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister.
God damn, folks. So, I just had to show that one because it was super duper good. Alright, folks. I'm trying to keep the show a little bit light today. Woo! Now I did enough January 6th for today. I want to keep as much of my sanity as I can. Folks, Pasquotank County reports highest local COVID-19 case increase in North Carolina. We're all fucked. We are fucked. I don't know. Whoa. Folks, I have a way to keep today light. Officer down, folks. Special police officer fatally shot in Southeast DC. Reward offered. A special police officer was shot and killed while on duty in Washington, D.C. Tuesday night, according to authorities. D.C. Police Chief Robert Conti said the female officer, who has yet to be identified, was found suffering from a gunshot wound. Suffering, folks. She was found suffering, that's right, after 8:30 p.m. in an area of Southeast D.C. Police told Fox News that she was unconscious and not breathing when officers arrived. This is unfortunate, Conti said during an evening press conference. My heart goes out to the family, to the special police officer. What makes her so special? No arrests have been made. D.C. police advised residents to look out for a white Camry with dark tinted windows. Fox 5 DC reported the vehicle was last seen on Wheeler Road, headed toward Southern Avenue C. Police are offering up to a $25,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest and conviction in the officer's death. Anyone with more information is asked to call blah 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 or can text anonymously blue blah blue. We're asking for the public's help. Oh, now you're asking for the public's help. Okay. Interesting. The shooting was the third in the area on Tuesday. At least 5 people, including a 13-year-old, were wounded earlier in the morning when a gunman opened fire in front of a convenience store. Later in the afternoon, a shooting prompted by a dispute injured a man and 9-year-old boy, the station reported. Yeah, guns are stupid. If you shoot people with guns that aren't... Let me rephrase that. If you shoot someone in your family with a gun over a dispute, you're a dumb motherfucker. Right? If you shoot anyone in a horizontally power-structured situation with a gun, you are a fucking stupid bitch. That being said, officer down, folks. Headlines, news flash. There you go. That's Fox News for you. We got an officer down. Shot and killed. I don't know what else to say. That's a shame. That's a fucking shame. Alright, folks, that's pretty much my show for today. So thank you for watching. That's it. That's all I got. This is episode 1337. And that's all I got. I've been doing some more Doom runs, for those of you that don't know. I uploaded one the other day. And I'm doing more. They're continuing to be done. For those of you that also want to hear about games, I will be doing some more video game streams in October for the Spook 5 Kyolar. Maybe I'll talk about Lula tomorrow. But I will be also doing some other stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna go now, and I'm gone. I'm gonna go now, and I'm gone. So that's it. That's the show.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Watch Hillary examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the members. Tim Kaine in the brain. Hillary examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the members. Tim Kaine in the brain.
But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. The world is actually a small piece of the universe. The world is actually a small piece of the universe, right?
In person, in my office, in Philadelphia.